Imagine a tide of men, an ocean of ambition, sweeping across the ancient lands. Unstoppable, they believed. Yet, in the shadows, a smaller heartbeat. 10,000 brave souls stood ready, defying the very heavens. They met in a roar, a collision of worlds, 80,000 against just 10, the odds unthinkable. But history whispers of more than numbers. It tells of cunning minds, courage, and desperate, brilliant strategy. This is not just a battle, my friend. This is a profound echo from Southeast Asia's heart, a land of forgotten empires, where legends are etched not in stone, but in sacrifice. We uncover a truth so staggering, it feels more like a whispered myth, almost too grand. But the dusty archives, the chronicles of old, tell a different, undeniable story. A story of empires clashing, of destiny shaped on riverbanks, under burning suns. The numbers themselves are stark, a challenge to our very understanding of warfare. 10,000 souls, fueled by desperation, loyalty, and a burning, improbable dream of freedom. Against them, an empire. 80,000 strong, complacent in its unchallenged might and grandeur. How could such a chasm be bridged? How could the smaller prevail against the colossus? For centuries, this incredible tale remained largely untold, a quiet secret of history, but its rhythm beat on, waiting for the moment to resound across the ages. Listen close. This isn't just a battle, it's a testament to the human spirit's audacious, relentless capacity. It's a reminder that even against all reason, against all odds, greatness can emerge. In the year 1538, at a place called Naungyo, history chose its most unlikely hero. We will journey back, my friend, to witness courage, strategic genius, and impossible triumph. Prepare yourself for a story that will challenge beliefs, stir emotions, and leave you pondering. An untold legend of Southeast Asia, where underdogs rocked an entire world order. This is the story of Naungyo, a battle where the impossible became breathtaking reality. Our journey now turns to a land where rivers flow into the vast ocean, a cradle of ancient power. Here, the Mon people built their glorious realm, Tabinshwehti, its heart beating in the famed city of Pegu. This wasn't just any kingdom. It was an empire, whispered about across distant seas for its boundless treasures. Gold flowed like the mighty rivers, precious gems unearthed from the very earth itself, fueling vast fortunes. Every dawn brought new caravans, new ships laden with exotic goods, enriching every corner of their domain. From the silk routes of China to the Spice Islands, Tabinshwehti stood as the glittering nexus of commerce. Their coffers overflowed, not merely from conquest, but from ingenious control of wealth's very currents. This immense prosperity wasn't just for kings, it trickled down, creating a society of deep, settled comfort. Look at its geography. A pearl strung along the coast, perfectly positioned to embrace the ocean's bounty. Its ports were magnets, drawing vessels from every horizon, making Pegu a true gateway to the world. They understood the sea's whispers, mastering vital trade routes that connected east with distant west. Beyond the waves, fertile lands yielded abundant harvests, sustaining a populace that flourished under their rule. Rivers became highways, carrying goods inland, ensuring their economic tentacles reached deep into the continent. Yet, this prosperity was guarded, forged by an army as formidable as any empire in Southeast Asia. Mighty war elephants, towering above lesser foes, were the living, breathing fortresses of their battle lines. And upon the waters, their formidable navy patrolled, asserting dominance, ensuring their maritime empire remained secure. Their warriors were seasoned, disciplined, honed by generations of conflict, ready to defend their golden realm. They were not merely fighters, they were strategists, understanding the nuances of power, always one step ahead. At the helm of this golden age sat King Tabinshwehti, a ruler who inherited an empire's dazzling zenith. His reign was a continuation of glory, a careful stewardship of an already magnificent and unchallenged inheritance. Surrounded by luxury, accustomed to deference, Tabinshwehti knew only the unquestioning obedience of his vast domain. His word was law, his power absolute, seemingly blessed by the very heavens that watched over his kingdom. For many, Hanthawadi was impenetrable, a behemoth, a kingdom that simply could not be brought to its knees. Life in Pegu was a symphony of indulgence, silks, jewels, and feasts that lasted long into the night. Their cities were monuments to their wealth, adorned with structures that seemed to touch the very clouds. Even for the common folk, life held a certain ease, shielded by the golden aura of their powerful empire. Across Southeast Asia, their influence was undeniable, a towering presence casting long shadows over all. Smaller kingdoms paid homage, understanding the futility of resistance against such overwhelming, undeniable might. The geopolitical chessboard of the 16th century saw Hanthawadi as the undisputed, central, formidable piece. This then was the Goliath, magnificent and seemingly unshakable, awaiting a challenge from an unexpected distant quarter. Deep within the folds of ancient lands nestled a kingdom, often overlooked by grander tides. Far from the bustling ports and river trade, Taungoo breathed mountain air alone. It was a modest realm, a quiet whisper compared to the thunder of its neighbors. An underdog, some would say, with little but the will to carve out its own destiny. Resources were scarce, a constant companion, demanding ingenuity from every soul there. Life was hard, yes, yet it forged a spirit of resilience, unyielding as stone. But within this small domain, a fierce determination began to stir. A quiet fire, a kingdom born of hardship, now dreamt of horizons far beyond its mountain walls. Then came a vision, carried by a young king, destined to change everything. Tabinshwehti, a name whispered with reverence, a leader whose spirit burned bright. He was young, bold, with an audacity that refused to accept the status quo. His vision wasn't just for survival, it was for a future, grand and unforeseen. Beside him stood another, Bayinnaung, a general whose brilliance matched the king's ambition. He possessed a mind like a gleaming sword, sharp and precise in its every thought, a rare bond between king and general, forged in shared dreams and mutual respect. This small kingdom harbored a hunger, an insatiable desire to reach for more. To thrive, perhaps even to survive, Taungoo knew it must break free of confinement. The time had come to challenge the established giants, to rewrite the old stories. They were not static, no. Taungoo was a pulse, beating stronger with every sunrise. To gamble everything, their very existence, for a chance at a different dawn. Their ambition was immense, stretching far beyond what many dared to even dream. The preparations were intense, quiet whispers of steel against stone filling the air. A spirit of unity, binding every heart, facing an uncertain, daunting journey ahead. Whispers of change began to ripple outward, beyond their humble mountain borders now. A new era was dawning, propelled by courage, a fervent hope for tomorrow. The decision was made, a path chosen, one that risked everything for greatness. Facing behemoths of power, Taungoo stood ready, heart pounding with defiance. Their ultimate aim, to reshape the map, to claim their rightful place, dominantly. Such audacity, some might scoff, but history is made by the brave, always. The fledgling kingdom was poised, ready to roar, ready for its greatest challenge. Sometimes, dear friend, a quiet ambition ignites in the heart, a silent knowing that destiny awaits beyond known borders. He dreamt not of defending his small realm, but of stretching its very sinews, reaching for the stars. This was no desperate plea for safety. This was a calculated, audacious gamble, born of a fierce hunger. For Tabinshwehti, power wasn't inherited. It was forged, piece by arduous piece, with a will unbreakable. He yearned for more than the land beneath his feet. He craved the fertile plains, the bustling ports. Under the cloak of secrecy, Taungoo began to stir. Quiet preparations, unseen by watchful eyes, commenced. Little birds carry secrets. Soon, whispers of movement, of gathering strength, started to drift on the morning breeze. His resolve was a deep river, flowing silently but powerfully towards an inevitable, challenging sea. The map was a chessboard. Hanthawadi, the formidable king. He planned his audacious, first desperate move. Hanthawadi, the great Mon kingdom, stood proud and wealthy, its golden spires piercing the vast blue sky. Taungoo was a small candle, daring to challenge the mighty blaze of Hanthawadi's established power. The unspoken command hung in the air. The time for action was now, for better or for bitter. Like a river breaking its banks, the Taungoo forces began to stir, gathering at the city's humble edge. Dust rose with every step, a telltale sign of an army in motion, a new chapter unfurling. Leaving behind the familiar, they marched towards the unknown, their hearts heavy with hope and fear. Through winding paths and sun-drenched fields they pressed on, each step a declaration of intent. The morning mist veiled their numbers, cloaking their audacious intent, adding a mystic hush to their stride. Rivers became temporary allies, allowing passage, yet slowing their relentless, unwavering, fateful advance. In every eye, a different story, yet a shared purpose, to follow their king into this daring venture. Their young king rode among them, a beacon of courage, guiding his people towards an uncertain dawn. Soon the fields grew richer, the villages more plentiful, revealing they had entered enemy territory. Before the storm, a moment of profound quietude. The very air seemed to hold its breath. A small outpost, a sleepy sentinel, stood oblivious to the storm brewing just beyond its gentle hills. Then, a flicker on the horizon, a rising dust plume, caught the lonely watchman's fearful eye. The clang of the alarm bell, a frantic symphony of fear, shattered the morning's fragile peace. A brief, sharp clash, a desperate resistance, but the Taungoo tide was swift, resolute, and merciless. The gates crumbled, an entrance into a new, uncertain era, marked by audacious, irreversible conquest. And there it was, the Taungoo banner, fluttering defiantly where another had once stood. The message was clear, carried by the wind and fleeing feet. A direct, aggressive challenge had arrived. In the gilded halls of Hanthawadi, news of the audacious incursion sent shivers down royal spines. The dominant kingdom, once so secure, now felt the tremors of an unexpected, audacious new threat. Far away by a quiet campfire, Tabinshwehti allowed himself a moment's silent, fleeting satisfaction. The die was cast, my friend. The great war born of ambition and daring had irrevocably begun. The road ahead was long, our supplies few, a heavy burden on young shoulders. Doubt whispered daily. Hearts grew heavy, minds pondered the immense task. Could such a small force truly prevail? Between us and our destiny lay miles of unforgiving earth, a formidable, silent adversary. Our leaders, wise and burdened, searched for answers, knowing pure might was not an option. Whispers of overwhelming odds carried on the night air, a chill reaching deeper than cold. Across the land, the enemy gathered, a vast ocean of strength, seemingly unstoppable, undeniably proud. Their ranks swelled with men, their spirit unburdened by doubt, their victory felt assured. Their leaders spoke with easy confidence, almost pity, for the small, defiant force approaching. Like a river in flood, their numbers promised to simply wash away any resistance in their path. Abundance defined their realm, a stark contrast to our meager provisions, a powerful visual. But true wisdom sees beyond the obvious, seeking cracks in the facade of overwhelming power. Their burden was immense, yet a fierce determination burned, refusing to accept the impossible. The land itself would be their ally, a silent, powerful friend against the mighty. A new strategy began to form, not of direct confrontation, but of subtle, artful dance. A quiet shift, a new direction taken, hope reignited in the hearts of the few. They ran, not from fear, but as cunning foxes luring a proud, lumbering beast. The enemy, blinded by their perceived advantage, eagerly swallowed the bait, pressing the chase. Their steps seemed panicked, yet a hidden knowing glinted in eyes, anticipating the next move. The jungle became their canvas, shadows their paint, crafting a surprise for the unsuspecting. Then, like clockwork, the trap sprang. A sharp, sudden blow from unseen hands. The forest itself conspired, its tangled embrace a shield, an ally against sheer numbers. They moved with the whispers of the wind, making the jungle their home, their secret weapon. The rivers, too, became their highways, allowing swift passage where the enemy floundered. For the heavy foe, every step was a battle against the land, slowing their mighty advance. The jungle swallowed their grandeur, turning their strength into a cumbersome, confused weakness. Phantom sounds, distant drums, unsettling the nights, planting seeds of fear in their minds. Small, sharp stings, disrupting their flow, then vanishing before a true response could begin. Sleep became elusive, every rustle a potential threat, every shadow a hidden enemy. They moved like the wind, striking when least expected, then fading back into the jungle. Dawn brought not peace, but a sudden terror, a reminder of the elusive, daring adversary. Constant harassment, unending anxiety, chipping away at their morale, breaking their mighty will. Their vastness became a chain, slowing their every move, an anchor in this shifting war. The underdogs, with wit and terrain, began to turn the tables, revealing the giants' true vulnerability. The great army of Hanthawaddy marched, a tide of men, their might unquestioned. Their victory seemed certain. Arrogance, a silent companion, walked with them, blinding eyes to shadows, deafening ears to whispers. Meanwhile, in Tungu's camps, minds sharpened, studying every path, every whisper of the wind. They watched the behemoth approach, its slow, ponderous gait, its careless sprawl across the land. A thought began to blossom, a dangerous seed in the mind, where strength could become weakness. Hanthawaddy, so vast, moved as if the earth itself bent to its will, expecting no defiance. But Tungu knew the dance of shadows, the art of invitation, the gentle pull towards a chosen place. Every hill, every river bend, whispered its secrets to them, becoming allies in their desperate cause. The larger army saw only flight, interpreting caution as fear, fueling their own misguided certainty. Yet, beneath the surface, a different truth was being forged, a hard resolve, sharp as steel. The plan coalesced, not head-on, but to guide them, like water down a prepared, chosen channel. They would lead the enemy to a place where numbers mattered less, where bravery would be magnified. Small deceptions, carefully laid, gently nudged the great army along, toward their destined confrontation. The chase quickened, Hanthawaddy commanders urging their men forward, eager for the decisive blow. A silent prayer for what was to come, for hard choices made on this hallowed ground. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the land began to close around them, whispering its ancient warning. Their vast numbers, once pride, now became burden, tangling their movements, slowing their forward advance. Confusion rippled through their ranks. The open field they sought seemed to recede forever. Hidden eyes observed their struggle, each hesitant step a victory for Tungu's patient strategy. The path narrowed further, drawing them into Naungyo, a place of shadows and unforeseen trials. Naungyo, a name now etched into memory, a valley cradled by ancient, unyielding hillsides. The trees stood sentinel, their branches interwoven, forming a canopy that swallowed the sky above. The very earth beneath their feet became an adversary, soft and treacherous, not yielding easily. This was no accidental encounter. Every stone, every stream had been carefully considered, chosen. The light here felt different, muted, reflecting the somber mood, the gravity of the impending moment. Here, their numbers meant little. Swords clashed with trees, formations dissolved into tangled chaos. Agility, not brute force, would reign supreme in this confined, unforgiving theater of war. The land itself became an equalizer, stripping away the illusion of overwhelming strength, revealing true grit. Cavalry, once their terrifying vanguard, now stumbled, their thunderous charge reduced to a slow crawl. From the heights, Tungu watched, their chosen positions now providing an unassailable, deadly advantage. The trap was sprung, the pieces aligned. Naungyo waited, silent, a testament to Tungu's grim resolve. A heavy quiet settled, air thick with anticipation, burdened deeply by the somber choices made. The stage was meticulously set, not for a battle, but for a turning point, a profound moment. The morning sun kissed the land, revealing a vast ocean of men, 80,000, a formidable, confident sight. Then their gaze fell upon them, 10,000 strong, a small, resolute band, against such overwhelming odds. Fear, yes, it must have flickered in their hearts. Yet, a deeper fire burned. Loyalty, courage, sacrifice. Bayinnaung, their leader, saw not numbers, but vulnerabilities. His mind, a quiet storm, charted a perilous path. The world held its breath. A profound hush, the kind that precedes an earthquake, fell across the landscape. Then, a sound, a distant, piercing call that tore through the dawn, echoing an unspoken command. The earth began to hum beneath their feet. 1,000 drums, 1,000 heartbeats, thundered towards them, but the Taungoo stood, a stoic, unyielding wall ready to meet the tide, to hold their sacred ground. The world exploded. Steel met flesh, screams mingled with war cries, and the true horror began. A choking dust rose, a shroud upon the field. All was a blur of frantic motion, life and death. From their perch, the Hanthawaddy saw only a skirmish. Their victory, they believed, was merely a matter of time. Yet, the smaller force held firm. A desperate, impossible stand, each man fighting for the future they dreamed of. Bayinnaung watched, his gaze unwavering. A subtle nod, a silent command, and the dance began. Then, a whisper of movement. A small shadow detaching itself, an unseen force slipping through the chaos. The larger army pressed on, confident. They smelled victory, unaware of the trap closing, silent, deadly. Arrows rained down suddenly, from where they least expected, a chilling surprise piercing their unsuspecting flank. Confusion rippled through their ranks, an unexpected blow from the very edge, splintering their earlier resolve. Then, the thunder of hooves. Cavalry burst forth, a devastating wave, smashing into their unprepared side. And then, the giants, war elephants, symbols of might, now joined the fray, their trumpets announcing devastation. The front lines felt it, a cold dread, a realization that something had gone terribly, irrevocably wrong. His eyes widened in terror. The battle was everywhere now, a swirling vortex. They were surrounded. Their vast numbers, once their strength, now became a terrible cage, pressing them in, suffocating hope. No escape. Arrows, spears, trumpeting giants, relentless pressure, grinding their spirit, crushing all resistance. Commanders screamed, their voices swallowed by the roar. Order dissolved. They were no longer an army. Pressed in, trapped, they fell upon each other. A tragic, desperate struggle, not against the enemy, but fate. A banner fell, slowly, painfully, and with it, their spirit, their pride, their will to fight. Terror seized them now. Weapons abandoned, they ran, a broken wave, scattering into the wild unknown. The Taungoo pursued, relentless. Their discipline, their courage, had turned the impossible into reality. A trail of despair marked their flight. Equipment strewn, bodies fallen, a testament to Bayinnaung's audacious plan. As the sun dipped, it illuminated a scene of unimaginable devastation. A mighty empire, now utterly broken. Bayinnaung stood, victorious. But victory, even the grandest, always carries a solemn, silent price. A quiet descended once more, but it was a different quiet now. A silence heavy with triumph and loss. The land bore witness. Naungyo, where the few with courage and genius rewrote the very course of history. The morning after, a quiet hush fell upon fields stained crimson. So much lost. What was once vibrant, full of life, now lay broken, a testament to what happened. The smoke whispers stories of shattered dreams, of a kingdom's sorrow echoing across the land. Their faces, etched with unspeakable pain, spoke of a loss too deep to bear. The mighty host, once proud, now a broken stream of shadows, fading into the horizon. Even the noble creatures, instruments of war, seemed to mourn the human folly witnessed here. For ordinary folk, Wars end not with cheers, but quiet tears and endless, aching worry. But the victors, unyielding, chased every shadow, every fleeting hope of the vanquished. No mercy was offered on this desperate run, only the cold, hard reality of defeat. The forest itself seemed to weep as the relentless hunt for survival played out. Every step forward for them was a step deeper into the defeated army's despair. The spoils of war, a heavy harvest, piled high, speaking volumes of a kingdom's downfall. Banners once glorious, now lay in conquerors' hands, silent witnesses to changing tides. Riches beyond measure, a king's fortune, now scattered dust and glittering trophies for others. Victory had a heavy price, but for some, it meant unimaginable wealth, a new dawn. And then there was the king, fleeing, his crown impossibly heavy, his heart surely broken. The weight of a kingdom's fall rested solely on his shoulders, a crushing, lonely burden. His path, once paved with glory, was now a desolate, unforgiving road to nowhere. The echoes of past grandeur must have haunted him, a cruel whisper in his darkest hours. Even in flight, a king cannot escape destiny's long, relentless, and unforgiving shadow forever. Whether by capture, death's cold embrace, or exile's lonely road, his reign ended. The sun set on an era, on a king's power, and on a kingdom's fading glory. The shift was complete, a new chapter written in blood and triumph, echoing through time. The dust settled, echoes of that day rippled through quiet valleys and river towns, profoundly changing everything. A single, improbable triumph. It held a weight few could grasp in those fading, quiet, weary hours. This wasn't just a battle won, it was a quiet whisper of change, a new chapter softly beginning. Naungyo, a humble name, became bedrock upon which vast dreams of future dominion would gently rest. For Tabinshwehti, it affirmed a deep conviction, a divine whisper. His destiny was now profoundly clear. And Bayinnaung, his brilliant mind already charting futures, saw the vast potential blossoming. From that fierce, unlikely moment, tiny seeds of a powerful, enduring empire silently began to sprout. The Second Taungyu Empire wasn't built in a day, but from Naungyo's spirit, painstakingly, stone by stone. A quiet, relentless expansion began, driven by a bold vision to unite this fractured, yearning land. Their resolve, honed in that crucible, allowed them to face challenges with quiet, unwavering, resolute spirit. Through strategic alliances, decisive actions, Taungyu's authority steadily grew, piece by precious, careful piece. The new realm, forged in fire, stood strong, a quiet beacon of ambition and organized power. Bit by bit, the disparate lands of Burma began to coalesce, drawn into Taungyu's gentle embrace. It was a monumental task, stitching together a tapestry of diverse peoples and their ancient traditions. Yet, the dream of a unified land, sparked at Naungyo, became a vivid, tangible, cherished reality. This unification shaped the very essence of Burma, a profound legacy that echoes through time. The ripples of Naungyo reached far beyond, fundamentally reshaping the political landscape across Southeast Asia. Hantawadi's long era of dominance, a story woven through centuries, quietly began its gentle wane. A new order dawned, Taungyu rising as a formidable force, changing regional dynamics, profoundly, forever. This was more than conquest. It was an age of careful consolidation, building structures meant to endure. Taungyu's strategic genius, born of necessity, ushered in an era of thoughtful, planned, careful expansion. And so, Naungyo etched itself into legend, a timeless reminder of the underdog's enduring, quiet power. It teaches us that courage, even against impossible odds, can forever alter history's gentle, winding course. The dust of Naungyo has long settled, yet its echo lingers, a silent testament to battles fought. Ambition, a fire that both builds and consumes, fueled the hearts of men, shaping their destinies. But beyond brute force lay intellect, a cunning mind orchestrating victory against seemingly insurmountable odds. And courage, true courage, blossomed not in boasting, but in the unwavering stand against despair. History, dear friends, is a river of unforeseen currents, ever twisting, ever surprising, defying all predictions. In Tabinshwehti, we see a rare beacon, a leader who turned impossible tides through sheer will. For numbers mean little when the spirit is broken. A few united can outlast the many. Naungyo reminds us that the human spirit, when truly tested, possesses an extraordinary, potent resilience. This small battle echoes through time, whispering tales of similar struggles, large and small, shaping our world. It's a reminder that even distant conflicts lay stones in the path of humanity's long, winding journey. The indomitable human spirit, forever seeking its destiny, ever learning from the echoes of yesterday. These stories are more than dates and names. They are lessons etched in the very fabric of time. If this journey resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more sagas. Until next time, keep exploring the past, for it holds keys to understanding our present.